Hi, darlings. Welcome back to the channel with me, Omosede. I've missed you so much. Today's food for thoughts or today's question is, why do some men feel threatened by women in positions of power? So hold that thought because we're going to be discussing more about it in today's podcast. Today, I am not alone. I have brought somebody that is extremely special. She's incredibly talented, so hardworking, and somebody that I deeply respect. And that is our very own beautiful Chef Mary. So we're just going to give her a few minutes to introduce herself, talk about what she does before we dive into today's discussion. So please, Chef Mary, what do you do?
Hello, my name is Mary Ayemere, Chef Mary. I'm a professional chef. I'm a sauce chef and pastry chef too.
All right. So just a quick disclaimer before we get into the conversation fully. I just want to stress to the viewers out there that this topic, or rather this conversation that we are having, is not in any way to belittle men or to be angry feminists, as they say on Twitter. But we are trying to gain clarity and understanding on the topic. And the reason why I have a female also as the host today, or rather as a guest today, is because I feel like this needs to be told or understood from the female perspective. So just before we dive in, I would take the time to explain a little bit brief of my own work experience. So I've been actively working now for about 12 years. I don't think there's anything that I haven't done to make money. As they say, daily 2K. I have gone from marketing, I have done business management, I have done property management, I have done creative work, writing, filmmaking, and all of that. And in the course of these past 12 years, I have experienced so much, like call it's been an interesting experience to say the least, especially being a young female. There's been a lot of misunderstanding around me and around what I do. Despite how hardworking, how tenacious, how transparent I am, and how disciplined I am in everything that I do, I too have been accused several times of like making headway through unusual means. And I have never, it's been very difficult to say, it's hard for me to say now that there's ever been like a meeting that I have gone to and I have not been like either judged or looked down upon just because I'm female. Or sometimes, okay, I'll give you a recent experience. So some of my books are out now. And there was a colleague that used to work with me before, but he doesn't work with me anymore. Anyway, he reached out to me and was like, okay, he's interested in buying some books. I was like, okay, fine. I will bring them to you. And then the next thing he says is like, okay, when I come to deliver the books, I hope, or rather, he asked me if I know that I will have to sleep over. So in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm coming to sell books to you that you requested. And now you're asking me to, like, how much is the book? Let's face facts. If that was the profession that if I was doing something like hookup or whatever, but now you are suggesting that just because you want to purchase a few books, if it's too much, 20,000, let's assume you buy several copies, I have to give you something else just because of you want to buy books. So it's something that is very common for women, especially women. And for me, to be honest, I won't say, I think I have a better way of handling it now because I've always somehow been in some kind of position of power. I think every single job that I've done, either I'm a founder or I'm general manager or the managers. So I've always been in that top position. But yet, even for me, I've still experienced a lot of like discrimination in the workplace. But just before we continue this conversation, I'm going to give Chef Mary a few minutes to discuss some of her own experience with colleagues and how they treat you because she's a head chef. She's the head chef of 2 restaurants. So there's always been a lot of friction and tensions from what I know. So I'll just let you share your own experience in your own words.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Omosede. Really sometimes I get discouraged because I've been in the position so many times and I've asked myself questions like, why? There was a time I asked Miss Omosede and she was like, you have to grow thick skin. I was like, grow thick skin. Because I feel bad that people see that whatever I do, that I'm using it to place clout, or maybe I'm just doing over sappy. like a lot of people will call it. She they do I too know. So no, it's not about doing I too know. I've had so many experience where I've worked as a head chef. I've worked in different organizations whereby I want to do more for the place, because wherever I work, I make sure that I bring my everything into it as if the business belongs to me. So sometimes people don't even know that they just employed me. Some people feel, oh, maybe she's related to the owner of the place. Oh, maybe one thing or the other. I've worked in a place whereby there were 3 staffs that I met there that were discussing on how to ruin me. Yes. And my boss just came from Canada. He was in his room at that same hotel. He called me to his room and said, Mary, come. Be very, very careful. I saw 3 people on the camera discussing how to ruin you. I was like, sir, what did I do? There are so many things they were not doing when I went into the place. They were not doing anything continental dish. They were not bringing in customers. I brought in so many innovations. I wanted them to make more money, but they saw it as I was trying to take their jobs, which I wasn't trying to do. So I had to leave. I left. After I left, they told my boss that, oh, I'm sure that it's because she must have gotten pregnant. That's why she left. And so we're like, oh, I'm sure she's having something to do with the boss. You get? So sometimes my boss will come to the kitchen and say, Chef Mary, anything for me today? I just say, okay, I'll just prepare something for him. And sometimes he just comes to the kitchen and just squeeze some money into my hands. So I had enemies. So I left. After that, I got another job elsewhere. Right now, I work in 2 different restaurants as head chef. I got another job elsewhere and I was putting my everything. This particular restaurant I work in, I started the place from the scratch. I was employed even before the place started. So everything in that place, I was part of the building of the place. And I can never watch the place fall. Because whatever happens to that place, we always refer back to me. If tomorrow I'm writing a CV somewhere, I'll always refer back to that place. If the place is growing, I'll be happy to say, oh, so place. I started it from scratch. I was the genesis of that place. But people see it in a different way. They feel I do too much. They feel that whatever I'm doing, I'm not supposed to be doing it. Because I'm this type of person. I love when whatever you're doing, just be open. Be plain. I'm not scared. I'm this type of person also that I'm not scared of anybody. I don't know why. I'm not scared of anybody. And I always want to put my everything into everything that I do. If I notice you're doing anything wrong, I will tell you whatever you're doing is wrong without feeling bad about it. Even to the point that sometimes my superior, like my MD and myself, I've been on a loggerhead for a very long time. Even a property manager, we've been on loggerheads for a very long time. But this year, they just about 4 months now, they begin to know my kind of person, that I am not bad. I just want the good of that place. You can't come to that place and say, oh, because you're the MD or you're related to who owns the place, and say, I want to buy something without paying. I will collect my money. I'm telling you the fact. I will collect my money. Even the owner of the place, the CEO, you buy something, you don't pay, I will collect my money. There was a time the waitress sold water to the CEO when he came to Nigeria, and they forgot to collect money. My waitress was, where is CEO? Where is CEO? Somebody told her that he has gone downstairs. I think he's leaving. She ran downstairs. Did not even use the elevator. She used the staircase. Sir, you've not paid for the water. How much was it? 800 naira. My boss looked at her like this. I said, Mary, I've taught you guys all these things. Will I not still pay? Sorry. If you don't pay now, they'll remove it from my salary, because that's the mindset they already have. If I allow you to do everything you want to do, the place will fall. I believe that in a business place, don't have friends. If you have friends, start having problems.
People say your friends are not your
Exactly. They are not your friends. Because by the time you start having friends among them, when they are doing something wrong, you can't correct that.
Yeah. How to call them out.
You understand? So because of that, I've had so many issues. My question I keep asking is, why do Why do people actually see something wrong when a woman is doing better than them? To the extent that many of them stop talking to you, and some of them want every reason to make sure you are being sacked or paint you black.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm just going to have to quickly pause you here so that I can answer your question. So for our viewers and viewers out there, the topic of today's podcast is unspoken tensions, insecurity, male insecurity in the workplace. And as someone that has had over a decade of working experience, about 7 years in property and business management, I think I am in the best position to answer this question. So, the truth is, what I believe, and I'm speaking from experience, I think women always feel like there's a need to prove ourselves because naturally the odds are already against us. There's already that level of unfairness. A woman and a man can be doing the same job. I think in Nigeria, traditionally, they have more female chefs than male chefs. In the Western world is different. But despite that, there are more female chefs than male chefs. If, for instance, during the employing or hiring stage, if a male chef should come that has the same credentials as a female chef, most companies would prefer to go with the male chef because they will consider, okay, pregnancy, childbirth, marriage, all of that, because they just assume that as women, we are naturally disadvantaged. And I'm somebody that can relate to a lot of your experiences because I have been through hell and high water. I am someone that is very intentionally skilled. There's nothing that I don't believe that I can do. That's why in any enterprise or any position that I find myself, I always try to optimize my abilities. Like for instance, I can be hired as a property manager. And the job of a property manager is to make sure that basically to ensure that the day-to-day running is smoothly. It goes smoothly. So I don't mind having to do accounts. I don't mind having to do social media. I don't mind having to do marketing, whatever it takes to get the job done. And I would go the extra mile to learn if I don't already know. So a lot of people have come to me and they're like, you are doing too much. Like, why do you do so much? But I'm like, I need to optimize my abilities to the best of my, because if this is what is going to help me to get the job right and to do it properly, then I have to do it, even if I have to take out the time and the pain and maybe even the resources to learn this skill. Just like the way you as a chef, you are constantly going for courses, you are trying to improve because the market is already like 1 against 100. So regardless of how talented or how skilled you are or how tenacious you are or how disciplined and hardworking, is a man's world, unfortunately. So I feel like for women, we have to prove ourselves. And even when you have gotten to that peak level, like for me, for instance, I'm a general manager, I'm an administrative director. I have all these big titles. But when I walk into meetings, once they just see that I'm a female, I'm a woman, I'm a young lady walking in with high heels because I'm going to look good regardless. That does not mean that I don't know what I'm doing. That does not mean that there's nothing in my head. But once they just see me, they just judge me on the arts, the external. Like yesterday or some days ago, I was at the Edo State Book Fair and everybody there was gawking at me. I was with my male colleague, but nobody seemed to see it. Everybody was looking at me. Why were they looking? Because I was wearing 6-inch high heels. To the point that the permanent secretary even had to tell me, she was like, don't follow. I hope you can walk. And I'm like, that's not really why I'm here. Like, I'm here for serious business. I'm here to contribute. But my physical look is what everybody seems to like be focused on. And it's the same thing that happens when I walk into like professional meetings, business meetings. I can come with the best proposal, but they just first assess me as that. And that's the reason why they have the audacity. Some people have the audacity to try to insinuate that they need sexual favors from me because they feel like maybe this is what I've had to do to climb up the ladder. Whereas no, I've been working hard for years. I've been improving. I've been learning. I've been gathering skills. So I do think it's very unfair. But unfortunately, like I told you, you just have to roll with the punches. You cannot say because we live in an unfair world or because people are going to judge you because you are a female that you won't do your best. That's even like encouragement. For me, I don't like, it might be a kink, but when people look down on me or think I can't do something, it makes me want to now do it. And I want to even do it better than you so that I can shut you up with facts, with proof. It's not an argument. Because mental, I think that's the mindset that causes that shift. And that's probably what most women need in the workplace. Because I go to a lot of places and I see a lot of women doing great things, but they are in lesser positions. So as soon as there's a woman in a higher position in the workplace, she becomes everybody's enemy. Just the same way people say, oh, in Nigeria, there can never be a female president. Women are not emotionally stable, but that's not true. Women are home builders. We are homemakers. So if we can build a home, which is like the most important part of anybody's life, then why can't we raise nations? Why can't we take care of companies? Why can't we do great things? There's a lot of invention that women have created. Women are the ones that have literally carried, like, I was reading recently that the light bulb wasn't actually made by Albert Einstein. It was his wife's idea. But because at that time, women were not allowed to go and file petitions or to go and say, okay, this is she couldn't patent the work under her name because she was a woman. So she used her husband. Until today, everybody is praising him for someone else's work. So it's always been like that. And unfortunately, I don't see it changing anytime soon.
So far, I think what I have learned so far with all this experience that I've had for a very long time, I think I've been experiencing this for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So far, I've learned that once they don't want to grow, they don't want you to grow.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be better than them. They want you to be stagnant and remain where you are, or not even be good as they are. They want to always take the glory. You are spending so much money growing yourself, trying to be a better version of yourself and trying to make something good out of yourself. But there's somebody else in your place of work who feel that you shouldn't be doing that. You're putting your emotion, because it is what you love, you're putting your everything about you into that job or into that thing that you do. But then, because they just want to sit down in one place, receive the salary and not put that effort, it's just like, for example, some people tell me that, oh, even some of my friends tell me that, oh, Mary, you're head chef now. Should I just sit down in the kitchen when others come, just prepare it, and then that is all? Why do you go through the stress of getting clients, asking people to patronize this company and all that? I always tell them something. I say, whatever client I have right now that patronizes business through me, I am grateful. There will be a time in my life where I will own my own business. They'll also be beneficial to me. And I always pray to God that the way I treat other people's business, when it comes to my turn, let them treat my business just the same way.
Okay, so I have a question for you. What do you think that women can do without belittling themselves or bringing themselves, shortening who they are, to make men feel a little bit more comfortable in the workplace? Because this is something that happens across so many companies. There are a lot of men that just feel unnecessarily challenged by their female superiors. So what do you think, or what would you suggest that is a reasonable action to take?
Okay. I have tried something before. I've tried to take the back seat. I've tried very well to take the back seat and see if this person can handle it. And I've realized that the more I try to take the back seat and let this set of people handle things keep falling. And I have tried also to speak to this person. I've tried also to speak to this person to know how can we work together to get this common goal we are all after. And at the end of this, some people they just don't want to contribute. They just don't want to learn. So for me, I'm still asking the same question you're asking me right now. Because I have learned one thing so far. Like Mr. Mose, they always tell me, because sometimes when I'm down, I don't know what to say. I just want to give up at a point. I always call her, and then she keeps saying that I should grow the thicker skin. How do I keep growing this thicker skin? Because sometimes it's draining. You are putting in your effort, and at some point you are scared for your life, that you don't want to lose your life while trying to fight for what you like. Not fighting physically, but keep pushing for somebody's business, and then some people are after your life.
Yeah, I think the frustration comes in knowing that even if you were to sit back and not do as much so that you don't intimidate anybody unintentionally, it still doesn't get the job done. So really, like I always tell people, your colleagues are not your friends. You don't have to like everybody you work with, but just find a way to work together outside the office or outside the organization. You can be enemies, but everybody should have a common goal when they are in the workplace, and everybody should be able to do their job. So I'm just going to quickly read a quotes so that maybe the male viewers can be able to fully understand what we are talking about. So male insecurity in the workplace refers to the emotional discomfort, self-doubt, or perceived threats that some men experience when working alongside women or under women, especially when those women are confident, competent, or in leadership roles. So basically, this entire conversation is just to bring clarity. We are not trying to blame anybody. We are all just trying to understand why this continues to happen, because we are in 2025 and this is supposed to be like the woke season. But regardless, unfortunately, it keeps happening. So we are just hoping for change, and we hope this conversation will be the beginning of many for us and for you out there. So thank you for sticking it out with us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. I love you. Bye.